Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Okay guys, we're going to be seeing a video today and this one is titled "Even the EU is shocked and surprised at Germany's move against the US." All right guys, no one expected this from Germany. All right, I'm so excited to check this one out. All right, if you're so excited, please subscribe and let's get right into this.
Workers at Volkswagen have launched rolling strikes in an escalating dispute at one of Germany's biggest employers,
where the president of the European Council and the European Commission talked up closening ties and their bid to ratify the CETA free trade agreement with Ottawa.
The trade tensions between Germany and the United States are having a serious impact, even on what for many years seemed to be the calmest and most harmonious relationship in the Western world. And this time, another economic giant on the other side of the Atlantic, Canada, is also involved. The result is a picture that would have been unthinkable 5 years ago.
Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
Germany, the European powerhouse, and Canada, the North American powerhouse, are discussing joint action against the United States tariffs on steel, aluminum, and automobiles. Meanwhile, the European Union continues to stand at the center of the issue, saying, "I have the authority on this issue." How did these states, which call each other friends and allies, end up in such a bitter trade showdown? Moreover, why has Germany's possible cooperation with Canada raised eyebrows even within the European Union? Let us rewind the movie from the beginning and analyze it step by step.
As you know, Howard is Secretary of Commerce, doing a fantastic job. And
It all started when United States President Donald Trump imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum under the slogan, "We must protect America's industries." He argued that this decision was intended to revive his country's steel and aluminum producers, seeing old trade agreements as anti-American. The result, however, came as a shock to the United States' close partners, especially Canada and the European Union. These metals are critical in a wide range of industries, such as automotive, construction, machinery, defense, and so on. Germany is one of Europe's largest steel producers. Canada has been the #1 supplier of steel and aluminum to the United States for decades. When the tariffs came into effect, both countries reacted with what they described as unfair taxes. But Trump did not stop there. He added, "I could impose an additional 25% tariff on cars coming from Europe." At that moment, Germany's biggest concern surfaced. Because the automobile sector is at the heart of the German economy, BMW, Mercedes, and Volkswagen export hundreds of thousands of vehicles to the United States market every year. A tax as high as 25% would significantly increase the price of these vehicles, reduce sales, and leave thousands of people unemployed in Germany. So Berlin is starting to think, we cannot allow this much. Trade policy is managed under the authority of Brussels within the framework of the European Union. So, if Germany wants to retaliate against the United States tariffs, it should normally wait for the European Commission's decisions. The Commission had already prepared a counter-tariff list for steel and aluminum and intended to balance the balance by imposing additional duties on some United States products, such as agricultural products and whiskey. However, the German Ministry of Economy has already signaled that we cannot rely solely on the European Union's lengthy processes. We can also take national initiatives if necessary. If the United States imposes a 25% tariff on our cars, we will immediately start retaliating with the European Union, it said. The publicized list includes many products that would shake United States exports. At this point, Germany's unilateral rhetoric prompted comments within the European Union, such as, "Is Germany looking for a way out for itself again?" But Berlin said, "No, we are not undermining the European Union. On the contrary, we are strengthening it. But our industry is extremely sensitive. We may have to act quickly to protect it." Berlin defends itself. European Commission spokespeople are trying to calm things down by saying, yes, Germany is acting a bit too fast, but we understand the seriousness of the issue. In fact, Canada has been one of the hardest hit by the tariffs. Canada, which has a huge trade volume with the United States, has been Washington's largest supplier of steel and aluminum exports for many years. Therefore, Trump's tariffs have caused great discomfort in Ottawa. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said, "The United States is being unfair. We will retaliate." Previously, they had planned a strategy of surgical retaliation with tariffs that would hurt influential lobbies in United States domestic politics. Since then, while Trump thought he could convince Canada in a separate framework, the Canadians started to say, Let us not play this game alone. And it was at this point that the possibility emerged that Germany and Canada might jointly consider tax retaliation against the United States, because both countries have the same problem. The United States market is big, but
I think this feels like a trade war, okay, and it's actually the average people that will suffer this, okay. They're going to suffer insecurity, they're going to suffer income, and all of that, okay. The average people are always the one at the receiving end.
tariffs will make their products more expensive. If they take a joint stand against this, Washington might be forced to back down more easily. After all, would the United States have to deal with the German European Union bloc and Canada at the same time? A trade war would also hit American exporters. Of course, the fact that Germany, instead of the European Union Commission, voiced the idea of direct agreements with Canada caused a little surprise in Brussels. Trade policy is already a common area, but Berlin said our interests are at stake. The European Union decision-making is sometimes slow, so we could have separate negotiations or coordination with Canada. After all, we are already partners under CETA. No problem, we are also in contact with Canada. Germany's initiative could be an additional contribution, the Commission comments. In the end, the European Union's unity is not in jeopardy, but there are also voices saying Germany has again prioritized its own interests. In its trade strategies, the Trump administration usually adopts the approach of negotiating with each ally separately, finding their weak points and imposing them. In other words, instead of seeing Europe as a whole, it wants to negotiate by separating Germany from France, Italy from Spain. It also brings Canada to the table within the framework of NAFTA or USMCA. However, the unexpected element is that Germany and Canada realize that they face the same injustice and tend to say, let us act together. This complicates Trump's piecemeal tactic. If Washington's trade frictions with Europe, Canada, and China continue, it is unclear to what extent domestic companies and consumers will be able to bear the burden. So can the White House back down, saying it is hard to fight on so many fronts? That is the question. There is no doubt that the most critical component of the German economy is the automotive industry, with brands such as Mercedes, BMW, and Volkswagen exporting hundreds of thousands of vehicles to the United States market every year. If Trump implements the 25% car tax, the prices of German cars will increase by several $1,000s. This would mean a drop in sales and huge losses for the automotive industry in Germany. The sector is the backbone of the country's employment, export revenues, and R&D infrastructure. Canada, on the other hand, is integrated into the United States market with its automobile sub-industry, parts, and raw material supply. There is a huge risk there too. Both sides are taking action, saying if we take this issue lightly, we will pay a heavy price. The European Union Commission wants to ensure a unified position on tariffs and international trade agreements. Germany, on the other hand, wants to talk to Canada more concretely and quickly so that we send a clear message to the United States. This is causing some confusion in the European Union, but there is no blocking. Canada and the European Union already have a comprehensive trade agreement such as CETA. Berlin is using the cooperation that comes with this agreement to come up with the idea of synchronized retaliation against the United States. For example, simultaneous tax hikes. This plan is based on the argument that if the United States were to face simultaneous retaliation from Canada and the European Union, it would face great domestic political pressure. The reason it is called audacious is that Germany has gone beyond its usual diplomatic politeness and used very clear language. If the United States takes serious steps, we will not hold back. In particular, the German Economy Ministry and the Association of German Industries are of the opinion that we have to protect our economy. Otherwise, tens of thousands of jobs are at stake. It is likely that President Trump will say, Germany should not engage in such a show of force. We are allies, and perhaps he will lash out. They do not spend enough in North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Now they are going to put barriers to our trade. He might even open additional investigations against Germany and Canada through the Trade Ministry and impose tariffs on more products under the pretext of national security. This could further complicate diplomacy. Conclusion. Maybe each side will say, let us stop and think and find an interim agreement. Or a trade war could actually break out. In a trade war, everyone loses, economists reiterate. Even though the United States has the advantage of a huge domestic market, there are companies that are afraid of losing their exports. Canada and Germany also do not want to lose the United States market. Therefore, the most plausible path is a middle ground scenario. That is, the United States reduces or postpones the tariff on cars, and Europe and Canada suspend retaliation. This compromise would be temporary, perhaps until after the United States elections in 2025. But at least a major crisis would be avoided. Another possibility is a prolonged diplomatic negotiation. Germany and Canada could buy time by saying, let us make the threats, but let us not rush to implement them. Maybe there are voices saying, if Trump is not re-elected, we will sit at the table with the next president. Eyes are on United States domestic politics. In other words, it is unclear how trade policy will take shape in the United States election atmosphere. This is not just a customs issue, but also reveals the new dynamics of transatlantic relations. The picture is complicated by the fact that Germany, in particular, has been skeptical of Trump policies from the beginning. While Canada, while remaining loyal to the United States as a friendly country, is disappointed with the tariffs. The era of diplomatic soft power is being replaced by protectionist and hard bargaining methods. Moreover, in the shadow of the Russia-Ukraine war, the transatlantic alignment on energy and defense is being shaken. Germany is shifting to the line of, let us base our national security on North Atlantic Treaty Organization, but we will not keep silent on trade issues. Canada is saying, we are allies, but we will not give in to unfair taxes. In sum, Germany and Canada's quest for joint action against United States tariffs points to a new balance of power on the world trade map. The United States is still the largest market, but export-oriented economies like Germany and Canada are planning a united counterattack against fierce protectionism. While this may come as a surprise to the European Union, in fact, the European Union is preparing to retaliate against the United States with similar concerns. Trump's tactic of divide the European Union and force Canada to negotiate alone may not go as he wants, because of the solidarity between Germany and Canada. It is not known which scenario will come true. Maybe Washington will find a middle ground at the last minute. Maybe a full-blown trade war will erupt. Everyone's common hope is that this conflict does not explode, but is resolved through compromise. Otherwise, economic turmoil and political tensions could rise. Some argue that the 2025 United States elections could also postpone the resolution of this issue. In short, transatlantic ties, once considered the most stable part of international trade, are being tested in ways that were never anticipated. What do you think? Is such a clear restraint by Germany and Canada realistic, or is it diplomatic intimidation? Faced with so much resistance, will the United States try to strike a deal, or will it say, I will do it my way? Which side will lose in this potential trade war, and who will win? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments. It seems that even between friends in the world of trade, big surprises can happen. We hope that this tension between Germany, the European Union, Canada, and the United States will end with a sensible compromise. Otherwise, the trade war wave may affect both European and North American economies. Stay tuned for new developments. Goodbye.
Okay, this is actually a lot. I just hope that they find a way around this whole stuff, because trade war is not going to be easy at all. It's not going to affect just Europe. It's not going to affect US. It's going to affect literally the entire world. Thank you for recommending this video. Okay, please share your thoughts and your opinion in the comment section. I would love to read from you. All right, thank you, and see you guys on my next one. Bye.